Welcome back everyone, my name is Eltimar and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Spellforce 3. Where we left off last time, we just arrived back in the city. I did swap out a little bit of equipment and we also have apparently a heist thing to do. Reaver bandits in the Howling Steppes.
I can take care of that.
Apparently we just have to go deal with Reaver captains in the Howling Steppes. We'll work on that at some point in time, not right now. We have other more important things to do, like going to turn in quests. Probably.
If it isn't the puny paleskin.
I just want the artifact that lets me get more
do as you please.
upgrades to my cool
Back to work.
tokeny thing. Let's go into the throne room of Greykeep, and we're gonna head to the Empress. She's gonna want to hear about this dark elf situation, probably. And there was another side quest we had to turn in as well, if I'm not mistaken. Although maybe I'm wrong, I can't remember. We seem to be stuck at 0%, which is not exactly a good sign. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. It's going slowly but surely.
Yes.
There are.
Well then.
There's one quest to turn in, but there's also. Oh, that's the Reavers quest we have to get done. Alright, let's go talk to the Empress first. Report to the Queen. I guess she's not really an Empress.
I see. I had hoped for a different outcome. But you once again made the best out of a hopeless situation. Which is why it is time to make this official.
You mean...
Yes, General Arif. You proved yourself worthy. I hereby pronounce you General of the Wolf Guard. I trust you will lead your soldiers as well as you have done before. A lot depends on it.
I will do my best.
Thank you, Your Majesty. I will do my best.
Good. Now, back to the task at hand. Thanks to the Wolfguard's efforts, we now know that there is a dangerous political movement in Windholm, led by a dwarven priest named Arikis. Furthermore, the soul vanishing Skadar observed is real, and it's a group of rogue dark elves, led by a masked woman, who are responsible for it. And there are hints that it's connected to the God of Light. This means that there are 3 questions we need to find answers to. 1. Who are those sleepers? 2. Who or what exactly is the God of Light, and how does it plan to enter our world? We hardly know anything about it. And 3. How do we deal with High Hierophant Arikis and his movement? The last thing we need when facing an ancient god is an empire of crazed dwarves.
Shouldn't the Royal Army take over now that we know what we're up against?
Shouldn't the Royal Army take over now that we know what we're up against?
On the contrary, the Wolf Guard is best suited for any of these missions.
How so?
Because I want to see these matters dealt with as swiftly as possible. Mobilizing the Royal Army would mean a lot of discussions with the other noble houses, for which we lack the time, and I lack the patience.
Wait, so, hold. Let me just. We know that there is a potential god coming into our world to destroy everything, possibly. The dwarves are careening towards war, the dark elves might be careening towards war, but you don't want to have a sit down with some of your nobility? Are you... That is not how politics works in a kingdom. Whatever, never mind, it's fine. We'll just deal with the problems. So you want to make all of this our responsibility?
So, you want to make all these questions Nortandra's responsibility?
What other choice do we have? Do not misunderstand, General Arif. I, too, would rather focus my efforts on rebuilding the country. But both the matter in Windholm and these masked dark elves pose a threat to our empire. And I will not stand by and hope someone else will take care of this for us.
Then talk to your nobility, get some soldiers going. Whatever. Regarding Tahar's death.
Your Majesty, regarding Tahar...
I know. You think those sleepers behind the Soul Harvest are responsible for his death?
Kinda.
It's very likely. Tahar was examining the disappearance of a village when the ambush happened. And, judging by a conversation I had with the mortician, the wounds match the swords of a sleeper.
So it wasn't X-Purity after all?
Probably not.
Well, we shall know for sure once we identify the sleepers and bring them to justice. Another reason to see this through.
Absolutely.
Where should we start looking for clues regarding the rogue sleepers?
Where should we start looking for clues regarding the rogue sleepers?
Well, the first step should be to contact Exalted Father's ambassadors and...
No.
Excuse me?
Dark Elven governance is... complicated. Even if we were to send an emissary right now, it would take us moons to even get an answer.
Then what do you suggest?
We reach out to a contact of mine, the leader of the Black Company. He knows all the dark corners of the Dark Elven realm, and I'm sure he can dig up some information on those rogue sleepers as well. With your permission, I'll send a messenger and arrange a meeting in Calibrock.
You have it. General Arif, you will accompany Skadar and see if this mercenary lord has anything worthwhile to say.
Where can we find information on the God of Light?
Fair enough. Any ideas where we can find information on the God of Light?
Remember when I told you that I've been following a lead? Turned out this one wasn't a dead end. We already knew that many religions mentioned the God of Light, albeit under different names. There's one in particular, though, that sparked our interest. The Alyani.
The tribe indigenous to the Howling Steppes? How can they help us?
Well, unlike other religions, their entire faith revolves around the God of Light. It plays a pivotal role in their culture.
So you want to travel there and find out if they know anything worthwhile, correct?
I think it's worth a try.
Agreed. General Arif, you will travel to the Howling Steppes with a division of your best soldiers and find us some answers.
Understood.
Alright, and how do... Every time I know it's Ericus, but I just see Arrakis every time. How do we stop Ericus?
Alright. And how do we stop Arrakis without starting a war?
With the help of someone who is on her way to Greykeep as we speak. We will confer once she is here.
Someone?
You shall see. It appears that we have a plan. The quicker we follow up on these matters, the better our chances of stopping the rock slide before it crashes down the slope. Good luck, and thank you for all your service. You have done well.
I'm just saying that the Queen could be doing more for us in this particular situation.
Tell me this is a joke, Ambassador. Tell me this is a bloody... I've served the crown for 30 years. 30 years! And now she discards me like an old pair of boots?
The caravan's safety was your responsibility. And by walking off with that recruit, you endangered all of us. I'm sorry. You were only 2 years from your retirement either way. And the incident will not impact your pension. The Crown will not let you...
Go to hell!
General, is there anything I can help you with?
What was that about, your argument with Commander Renelt?
What was that about? Your argument with Commander Reinelt?
The Queen demoted him for his failure on the Golden Road. She basically sent him into early retirement.
Well, that's appropriate. He fucked up.
That's appropriate. His behavior endangered the entire division.
I agree. Sauntering about the forest with that recruit? He was careless.
How did you become the ambassador of the realm?
What's your story? How did you become ambassador of the realm?
Oh, well, it's not an exciting story if that's what you were hoping for. I'm the son of Jaros de Bros.
The de Breos? The mayor of Greyfell?
Yes, my path was pretty much paved the moment my parents found out that I was gifted. A royal mage took me under his wing, and I joined the university when I was only 15 years old, where I studied the 5 languages, history, diplomacy, and magic. Since I wasn't an exceptional mage, but performed quite well in other disciplines, my father suggested that I pursue a career in politics, as he had done. That I did, and here I am, 13 years later, and ambassador of the Queen.
So he's only 26? That's impressive. Actually, you speak all the 5 languages?
You speak all of the 5 languages?
More or less, yes, though my Elven and Empyrean have gotten a little rusty.
That's impressive.
28 winters and ambassador of the Queen. That's impressive.
Thank you. What about you? How did you join the military?
I was born into a military... yeah. No, I worked my way up.
Well, my parents didn't come from much. I worked my way up.
And now you're here, General of the Wolf Guard. I admire that, General. I truly do. Either way, is there anything else I can assist you with?
What are your thoughts on all of this?
What are your thoughts on all this? The dwarves?
I wish I knew. Truth be told, in my experience, it's best if you don't think about these matters too much. Their causes, their implications. Instead, you should focus on what you can do about it. This is how I approach most aspects of life. Act, don't brood. Also, I fully trust Her Majesty, and since she has put her faith in you, I do the same.
I'm flattered.
Has our dwarven ally arrived yet?
Has our dwarven ally arrived yet?
Not yet, but we have received word that she passed the gates of Kings 2 days ago. In other words, she will arrive soon. If you'd be willing to wait, I could arrange a conclave right after she arrives.
Not yet.
Let me get back to you. There are some things I need to take care of first.
Of course.
We have several quests to do before that.
This way.
Oh, there's also apparently.
General, is
Oh,
there
that's the
anything I
dwarven
can help you
contact.
with?
Okay, no, we're fine.
So long.
Tiara's light, General.
We have to proceed in the main quest until Wraith has new information.
Go ahead.
Let's grab some whatever this is for loot. We can get a better hat, which gives focus, which is kind of nice. A different hat, which gives a smaller amount of focus but better defenses. And sort of, there's a lot of defense on that plate helm of focus. That's a lot of constitution though. Well, that's even better. There's some seriously better gear here, but we don't have 9 con. Int will 4. I mean, our main character kind of needs a little work, so we're gonna grab the hat for him. I went too far the other way. Let's put on some gear. We can wear this suit. It's better than what he's wearing. No, it's the nature and light magic one. Neither of which he has. We can throw the hood on though. I look very wizardy now. We don't really have a whole lot in terms of gear for him though right now.
What is it?
I'm gonna go over here and just see what Wraith has to say, and then we'll head out
Interesting.
into the city. I might have some things to do out there. At the very least, we need to go do some mercenary type stuff. We need to go do the Reavers.
General.
How come you don't have a dark elven accent?
How come you don't have a dark elven accent?
My accent? Oh, I lost it ages ago. When I moved to that remote village where I conducted my studies. They had their own dialect.
What is your take on our companions?
What's your take on our companions?
Why?
Because I value your opinion.
Sorry, but I don't like these kind of conversations. I'm sure you're capable of forming your own opinions.
Alright, fine. I'd like to learn more about your craft.
I'd like to learn more about your craft. Mysticism.
Such as?
You said that you can feel souls. How is that possible?
You said that you can feel souls. How is that possible?
Hard to describe. Though I think it's an ability every mage could learn. I've always had it. Just imagine, the sea. The sound of the waves. If you live near the shore, you'll probably become insensitive to it eventually, to the point where you can't even hear it anymore. It's similar with the Tapestry of Souls. Most people have the ability to sense it, but they've grown numb to the stimuli. That never happened for me.
So, what you're saying is you can hear the presence of a soul? A flame?
Plural, but yes. To stay within the metaphor, when the vanishing first happened, it was as though somebody dropped a stone within a perfectly unmarred sea. It caused ripples. I know that may sound a bit vague, but it's hard to explain to somebody who has never seen the tapestry at all.
What does my soul look like?
What does my soul look like?
Strong. Bright. White, somehow. It's a solid flame. Not as impressive as the flame of someone like Tahar, but nonetheless remarkable.
Alternate realities.
You mentioned that there is more than just one reality.
That is correct.
How come I haven't heard about this?
How come I haven't heard about this?
Probably because the other realities don't affect us. I mean, think about it. Yes, there are millions of other realities out there. Some very similar to our world, others where the principal kinds or the guardians don't even exist. But how does this impact us as individuals? Yes, the scholarly aspect is exciting, but that's about it. I think that's also the conclusion the Hibernians came to eventually. They extensively researched the matter for hundreds of years, and then just stopped.
What do we know about the reality the God of Light comes from?
What do we know about the reality the God of Light comes from?
Not much, I'm afraid. Hopefully that'll change soon.
If the God of Light can enter other realities, couldn't we too?
If the God of Light can enter other realities, couldn't we too?
In theory, yes. In practice, however, I doubt that organisms such as ourselves would survive such an attempt. We talked about this, but the Hibernians spent a lot of time trying to transport living beings into other realities through minuscule fractures in the veil. However, everybody they attempted to send through died instantaneously. It's ironic if you think about it, isn't it? There's an infinite number of worlds right behind the veil, yet we're stuck on the other side of the looking glass.
Let me ask you about something else.
Let me ask you something else.
Tell me more about yourself.
Could you tell me more about yourself?
What is it with all the questions, General Arif? I don't mind, but I don't really see the point.
Because it's game lore and I want to know it. Curious.
I'm just curious.
Well, ask.
How is Dark Elven culture different from Nortandian culture?
How is Dark Elven culture different from Nortandian culture?
In just about every aspect. Dark Elves value the collective over the individual. Hardship over pleasure. Self-control over displays of emotion.
What do you think about it?
Good question. I used to be an avid advocate of Dark Elven culture. But now that I've lived abroad for a while, I can see why most foreigners demonize us. Slavery, sacrifice, demonic incantations. It's easy to write the Exalted Father off as the epitome of evil. The truth is, however, somewhat more complex. Calabrock's system may be brutal, but it works. Better than most societies, for that matter.
At what cost?
But at what cost?
Society always means compromise. I don't think the Exalted Father rejoices in the suffering some of his servants have to endure. The only reason it seems evil to you is because you come from a different culture that values different ideals.
Is there anything you miss?
Is there anything you miss?
I can't say. Ever since I left, I haven't really looked back.
How do you feel about being in exile?
How do you feel about being in exile?
I don't know. I suppose part of me misses having a sense of home, roots. But there's no point dwelling on the past. It is how it is.
I return.
Let me ask you something else.
What made you leave the what made you leave the Dark Elven Empire?
What made you leave the Dark Elven Empire?
Long story. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, what was your profession back in Lar?
What was your profession back when you still lived in Lar?
Intelligence.
What?
Right. You wouldn't know. Dark Elven children are taken from their birth parents at the age of 4 and are given a concoction that wipes most of their memory. Then they are sent into the Communes. Giant buildings where they live until they come of age, with hundreds of other children who were born the same year. These are their brothers and sisters, whereas the Exalted Father and his Queen become their parents from the time they enter the Commune until they come of age.
The Exalted Father becomes their actual father?
The Exalted Father becomes their actual father. That's mostly symbolic, isn't it?
Symbolic, but deeply imprinted into their brains.
Your son didn't grow up in a commune, though, did he?
Your son didn't grow up in a commune, though, did he?
No. We lived in a village near the border where laws weren't that strict. Also, being influential, as I was back then, allows different options when it comes to the upbringing of your child.
Figures.
They wipe their memory?
They wipe their memory? In other words, Dark Elves don't know their birth parents?
No. And reaching out to your child while it's still in the communes is a punishable crime. You'd also be wasting your time, because once your child has been given the concoction, you're no more than a stranger to him or her anyway.
I see. To what end?
To what end, though?
To weed out the weak from the strong, and to determine which caste the child is most suitable for. Intelligence, strength, endurance, etc.
So they're raised and educated in the communes?
So they're raised and educated in the communes?
By the overseers, yes. Though they don't intervene too much, apart from training and teaching them. The idea is to let the pack, the children of each generation, develop their own hierarchy and dynamics.
Throw them into a pit and see who comes out on top.
Well said.
And the parents agree to this?
And the parents agree to this?
Well, they don't bake cakes and throw confetti to mark the occasion, but yes, they agree. The Communes are an inseparable part of Dark Elven culture, and, albeit at a cost, they work. The Communes provide every child with the same chance. That's more than can be said about Finon Mir or Nortanda culture.
Strength, intelligence, and endurance?
Strength, intelligence, and endurance. So, Dark Elven society is divided into castes?
Yes, the entirety of which constitutes the realm. Speech rules, strength fights, and wisdom preaches.
What happens to the weak?
And what happens to the weak?
Depends. Most of them just end up in endurance, doing farmer's work. Others die.
Interesting.
Interesting. And you were assigned to the intelligence?
Correct.
What other castes are there?
What castes are there?
6. Strength, intelligence, speech, wisdom, endurance, and soul.
Strength is the army?
Strength is the army?
Army, city guard, and so on. Pretty much every job that requires muscle and knowing how to kill. Most Black Company mercenaries used to be members of the Strength before they changed professions.
Figures.
Wisdom?
What do members of the Wisdom do?
Preach. They devote their life to both Nor and the Exalted Father, and spread his ideas.
Endurance?
Endurance?
Yes. The workers, farmers, and craftsmen. They do the simplest, but often the hardest and most important jobs. Not the truly demanding ones, though. Those are reserved for the slaves.
What is the purpose of the speech?
What does the soul embody?
Oops,
The leadership.
wrong one.
The Exalted Father is a member of the Soul, as are most nobles and people of influence. You're not really chosen for the Soul, though. You need to be born into it. In other words, unless your parents are members of the Soul, chances are next to naught that you'll be raised into it. I mean, there are exceptions, but they are rare.
What's the purpose of the speech?
What's the purpose of the speech?
Politics, mostly. Or bureaucracy. Like Ambassador Jaros here in Greykeep.
What's the purpose of the intelligence?
What's the purpose of the intelligence? To study magic?
To gather knowledge and explore magic, yes. Did you ever marvel at all the constructs, demons, and creatures that make the Exalted Father's army such an impressive force? They wouldn't exist without the intelligence. Certainly, spending most of your life in dank laboratories may not be as glamorous as fighting for glory on the battlefield, doing nifty politics and attending conclaves, or holding masses in front of hundreds of lost souls. But if it weren't for the intelligence, the Exalted Father's empire wouldn't be what it is today. Not at all.
I can imagine. And your mission was to study the nature of life and death?
And the nature of reality, yes. I have to say, if there is one thing I miss about the time before my exilement, it was the Dark Elves' appreciation for magic and knowledge. Not even Kalea's universities can hold a candle to the sanctum of the intelligence in Karlabrock.
Well, thank you.
Well, thanks for the insights.
Sure.
You mentioned you lost your family to the Bloodburn. What happened?
Back in Lar, you said that you lost your family to the Bloodburn. Would you... Well, would you like to talk about it?
No. I'm sorry, but I don't see how my personal life is relevant to our mission. I am
Okay.
here because the God of Light is a threat to us all, and I want to see the matter dealt with as swiftly as possible.
Well, if you feel the need to talk about it, I'm here.
Well, if you ever feel the need to talk about it, I'm here.
I don't think that will happen, but I appreciate the sentiment. If it's conversation you want, why don't we talk about your past instead? Judging by those nightmares you have, and according to the rumors, your waters also run deep.
If you're talking about the incident in Cavil, I don't remember.
If by my past you're talking about that incident in Imperia, I have to disappoint you. I don't remember it.
Oh, that's fine. I wasn't interested in the details anyway. I only care about the result. You made a tragic mistake, and other people paid the price for it. In the end, that's what it comes down to, isn't it?
I guess. What are you getting at?
I merely want your opinion on a question I haven't found an answer to. Say a person makes a terrible mistake. How can that person be sure he or she won't do it again if confronted with an identical situation?
There are no identical situations.
There are no entirely identical situations.
Well, it was a hypothetical question, but fine. You don't have to answer. Frankly, I think most people are too quick to forgive themselves for their mistakes. It's almost as if they believe that their apologies and regret undo them altogether. They don't. I know it sounds dramatic, but if an innocent ever suffers under your actions, it leaves a stain on your soul. And that stain stays for the rest of your life, which is good, if you ask me. Some sins don't deserve forgiveness, and some sinners don't deserve absolution.
I don't care about absolution. It's all theoretical anyways.
I don't really care about absolution. It's nothing but a concept anyway.
By that logic, everything that's not tangible is a concept, isn't it? Friendship, love, hatred. No
yeah.
general Erev. These concepts, as you call them, are a vital part of our existence. No matter how hard you try to convince yourself otherwise. All that being said, I do approve of the Queen's decision to make you General of the Wolf Guard. I even see why she did it. It's better to have someone who knows their demons lead us than someone who doesn't. Now let's get back to the task at hand, shall we?
Sure. No.
General.
Did you hear back about from the Black Company's leader yet?
Did you hear back from the Black Company's leader yet? We still need to find information on those rogue sleepers.
Not yet, but that doesn't surprise me. The man likes to take his time. I suggest we deal with the other matters first.
Okay. See.
I'll be going. We'll speak later.
Sure.
I mean, to be fair, friendship, love, and stuff are concepts. Doesn't mean they're not important. Lots of concepts are very important, but I mean, they are still concepts. And the reason they're concepts is not everyone experiences them in the same way. They're not a universal construct. Alright, I guess we are fundamentally done with this video. We are at 27 minutes. In the next video, we'll head out of town, we'll go to the Howling Steps, and we will deal with the Reavers, which I guess is our mission to do currently. And we also have to do Shygdead? Shygdead. That's a hard name to say. Anyways, we'll deal with that in the next video. For now, though, we will call it here. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you all next time. Take care.